What is going on, everybody? Miami Dolphin fans, NFL fans, everybody. What is going on? I'm here, joined as always with my guy Jacoby. We're still on cloud nine after this Miami Dolphins win on Sunday. What an amazing game! What an amazing performance by Tua, aka him, and Tyreek Hill, aka him, and Jacoby, as everybody who watched the show, which you should. And if you're not, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel. Jacoby was in attendance for this masterpiece. So Jacoby took the trip down from LA. He's back in Sacramento. Well, back up to Sacramento. Jacoby, how you feeling, my man? What's the
I'm
vibes like?
doing good, man. Let's go. What a freaking game that was. Yes, I went to the game, sat so close. Man, it was a Dolphins home game. It was definitely the best Dolphins game I've ever been to. It was the first time I saw them win. So that was freaking amazing. God, there's so much to talk about, man, but I'm doing so good. I'm finally wearing off. I got my voice back today. I literally did not have a voice yesterday. Like, I kid you not, I could not talk yesterday from how much I was screaming at the game. So I'm glad I got it back today just in time for the show. So thanks for having me again, man. I'm so ready for this one.
Bro, I mean, listen, I'm jealous. Me and you talked about this. It's pretty damn cool that you think of Tua's career so far, which is he's very early on in his career. You think of two games that pretty much are stamped right there. You think of Baltimore last year, and you think of the Chargers that we just witnessed. I was at the game last year against the Baltimore Ravens where I was just completely wowed and stunned by his performance. I didn't think we would ever see something like that again from Tua. I thought it was just like a wow. He was. I don't think he could double up. And then he had an even better performance, and you were in attendance. Can you share what the vibe was like? Share some stories if you have. Share something about you being in attendance for this.
I got plenty of stories, and it dates back to the day before the game, dude. I got to LA Saturday morning, settled in for a little bit, and then me and my guys, we decided to go down to downtown Disney, do some sightseeing, LA attractions. Saw like 7 Fins fans, dude. It was awesome. Talked to a bunch of these Fins fans. Then right after that, we went to an Angels game. 10 Fins fans I saw.
Nice.
Talked to all of them. They were all over the place. The vibes were just there from the start, my guy. And then we got up early in the morning, got to SoFi around 9:45. We started tailgating from the jump, dude. It was just Fins fans all over the place. If you're watching this and you went to the game, you should be so damn proud of yourselves because we showed out completely, Nando. It was insane. Right from when the gates opened, the crowds, the stands, they just filled with teal, orange. It was all over the place, my guy. The Chargers fans did start to pile up towards kickoff, man, but the entire right side of the stadium was just all Miami Dolphins fans, and it was just such a great sight to see. I got some funny ass stories, man. Like
Share one, bro. Share one.
yeah. This one, I'm gonna do this one right now because this one's hilarious. So when I'm on the road with my teams, I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna start shit. Okay. Before I say the story, I have the utmost respect for the Chargers fan base. To this guy that I'm about to tell the story, you know, I maybe I owe you a little bit of an apology, but at the same time, you started this shit, so you brought this shit on you. So first drive of the game, Dolphins are marching down the field. We're feeling it. Kickoff, let's go. Connor Williams fumbles the snap at the 2-yard line. And then the Chargers take it down for 94 yards for a touchdown. The most Miami start to a season. This Chargers fan, I don't even know if he was 18. He was probably 18, 19 years old. He's in the next section from me, but they're so close together. So he's right next to me. He gets out of his seat. He comes right near me. He's like, "Take that, bitch!" Like, starts yelling. So I just look at him like, "Okay, it's on. It's on." So like, I'm like, "You asked for this." So I just start letting him hear it throughout the entire game, but it spiced up in the fourth or the second half. Tua throws the pick, which, by the way, was a pass interference. I don't care what you say. It happened right in front of me. But anyways, he throws the pick. The guy goes all crazy, starts clapping in my face. My brother gets up. My brother's like no filter. He's like, "Come over here, I'll beat your ass." Like, starts screaming at this guy. And I had to back up my brother. I'm like, "No, sit down." He's like, "I don't care. I'll beat this kid's ass." I'm like, "No, sit down." I was like, "This game is too good to get thrown out of. Just sit down." And I'm like, "Hey, if we win, Let them hear it. And he's like, all right, fine. So it's the last drive. Tua throws a dart to Tyreek. That was it's the loudest roar I've ever heard. It was insane. Sanders misses the extra point, so this Chargers fan thinks they have it on wrap. Not gonna lie, I thought they did too, because
So did I. So did I.
we could not stop the run. So I thought they were just gonna get into field goal range, and that was it. We sack Herbert on fourth down. I wait to see there's no flags. I turn around and I look at this guy and I start yelling, "Get the fuck out of my house." I started screaming. I have it on video. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of my house." I'm just pointing up the stairs. I'm like, "Get out." I started yelling at him, and he takes one little glance at me, and he started heading up. I was like, "Get the fuck out." I just started screaming. And that at that point, that was the last I heard my voice for the next 2 days. Not proud of it. I'm not proud of it whatsoever. But you know what? You start that crap, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it when you lose. So I had no filter, but it was the best game ever, dude. But I'm over it now, especially after yesterday. The turnover machine strikes again. 4 turnovers from Josh Allen. Dolphins are in great position. So I'm pumped. I'm ready for New England, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's fun though when you go to other stadiums on the road and you kind of get into it with fans. As long as no fight happens, I think it's all fun and games. Like trash
Yeah,
talk is part of sports, bro. It's part of being a fan and watching the game. I love it, man. I love stuff like that.
absolutely.
As long as it doesn't turn into a fight. So hey, I would have done the same thing, man. And I had a similar story happen to me in Baltimore where I didn't even start it, but I'm not even gonna go there, but it always happens, bro. People are always trying to poke at Dolphin fans, but I like
Exactly, dude.
the fact that we got the last word. That's what matters, man.
Yeah.
But did you? We got a comment here, bro. We saw pictures surfacing around Twitter. That
Yes, I did.
you did, so
I
that's a
did
real
see
thing.
yes, it was a real thing. They were in the stands. They were promoting that freaking movie. But they kept bringing it up like in between every timeout, and so I'm just like, okay, I'm over this crap. Like, because I was also so hot, dude. It was so hot in that stadium. By the end of the game, man, I was just drenched in sweat, but yeah, I didn't care. It was like a victory bath, but I was pumped. But yeah, I did see those guys. It was it was funny.
Oh man, I'm so jealous, man, that you were at this game. I mean, what a performance, though. Honestly, like let's
What
get
a
in.
performance indeed, dude.
Let,
It
let
was one for the ages.
I mean, let's get right into it, man. So, spend some time on it. So, Tua, obviously, as many people know, ended with 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The interception looked like a pass interference to me. Replay shows that it should have been a pass interference, but it's an interception nonetheless. But I thought this was Tua's best performance that I have ever seen, including the Baltimore game, including the Arizona game in his first year. Um, I mean, just the way he was making it happen and just delivering on third downs and, throwing outside the numbers, throwing in the middle of the field. He was just picking the defense apart wherever he wanted. He was moving well in the pocket. I was thrilled, man. But you were there in person. You see it better. What are your overall thoughts on this past game and this opening win?
I'm going to start with the offense first, man. It was a complete showdown for the offense. Tua, right out of the gate, complete poise, complete focus, complete awareness in that pocket. It didn't let up. He had a couple of throws that were hanging up there, not the best throws, but like you look at those 2 bombs he threw to Tyreek, man, they were completely in stride, right on the money. And the one on third down in the fourth quarter where he stepped up in the pocket while taking pressure from Khalil Mack and completely unloads it to Tyreek and hits him in stride. That might be the best throw we have seen in his career. You look at the 2 throws from Baltimore, dude.
There were
He hit him, but they were
Mhm.
underthrown. You can't
Yep.
argue them. They
Yep.
were underthrown. Tyreek did not let up at all. The 50-yard touchdown Tyreek had, that happened right in front of me, man. It was just a complete dropping in his hands. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And then the one he threw, I don't this isn't being talked about enough. A lot of people are talking about the 3rd and 10 play to keep the game alive, but the one he threw to Tyreek in the end zone for the win, the placement on that pass
Mhm.
was impeccable. And you cannot argue that whatsoever. Yeah, quarterbacks, everyone's like, quarterbacks need to make that throw. Well, do we see those throws from a bunch of common quarterbacks? No, we see those from the greats. See that from Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. We see it from those guys. We have not seen that from Tua, and that was just amazing to see. It was just a thriller on the offensive side, but I'm gonna let you talk here a sec, but defensive, very different story. We got a lot to talk about that, but I want to hear from what you liked out of the offensive end.
No, yeah, definitely. We definitely got to get into the defense. Definitely got to get into the defense. But what I liked about the offense, man, is it's what you said, bro. And I think you nailed it right on the head, bro. I think that touchdown pass that has not gotten enough hype. A lot of people talking about the third down, like you saw, which was a tremendous play. I mean, it was unbelievable. Best throw I've ever seen Tua make in his career. But that goal line fade to a 5'10" wide receiver, just right in the breadbasket, bro. Like the ball placement of that was just insane. It doesn't. That's not a touchdown unless you put it right there. And those are the type of plays that like you say, you see the goats make. You see Patrick Mahomes make that. You see might be a little bit too soon here, but Aaron Rodgers makes that play. He made a play like similar to that in preseason to Garrett Wilson against
Absolutely.
the New York Giants. Like those type of plays in like a goal line fade route like that, where it's not a jump ball, it just has to have that right placement. I mean, it's a thing of beauty, man. But what I thought about this offense is like, wow, this is gonna be a fun season, man. I think this was a statement, bro. This legit was a statement game for Tua and for the Miami Dolphins. When we signed Jalen Ramsey in the offseason, plenty of us thought, hey, Super Bowl contenders, including myself. And then when Ramsey went down with the injury, we're starting to question that. Are we contenders? Are we okay? We could win the division. Okay, we'll be in the playoffs, but are we contenders? We don't know what Tua is going to be like. He hasn't played in so long after those concussions. He was considering retiring. Is Tua's head right? Does he have the same drive? And it's like, holy shit, this guy looked like he's taken such a big leap. And it's like, this is exactly what we needed as a fan base to see, like, wow, okay, we could really, really do something special. And I know week one, people overreact. You can jump the gun, but it's hard not to jump the gun when you see the throws that he was making and just how Tua has developed with Mike McDaniel in this system. It's a thing of beauty, bro.
Absolutely. And, Nando, I went to 3 Dolphins games last year. I saw Tua in person 3 times, and he looked significantly bigger this week. Like, you looked at it, he didn't look small. He didn't look scrawny. He looked built. He looked like he put in that work. It was noticeably there. So I was pumped to see that. I'm like, I looked at my brother. I'm like, he looks great. Like, he's out there. Like, he looks like in tremendous shape. So, you could tell he definitely put in work this offseason. I'm excited, man. But you know what? We got to turn this page to the defense, man, because there's a lot to talk about, but there's also some stuff that we need to pump the brakes on a little bit because, I told you last week, Nando, everybody knew this was going to be a shootout. Like, even if we had Ramsey, I still think this would have been a shootout. But I want to touch base on my keys to the game last week. I said you got to limit the big plays. I feel like they did that. The big plays the Chargers had didn't really come into the crucial times, like in the fourth quarter or like to end the half. Containing the pass, we only held Herbert to 228 yards, which was pretty good. And then making big plays. What happened at the end of the game? So those were my keys to the game. But we need to talk about this defense. A team that was known for stopping the run efficiently last year could not stop the run for shit this week. At least over 220 yards rushing. It was pretty damn tough to see. I don't even think the Dolphins had didn't they not have a drive where they were up or I don't think they had a single offensive drive where they were up. Defense kept giving it back right away. So very concerning, but it's game one. They came up when it mattered. That's all that matters. But, the Chargers are going to make their plays. They're going to have their big plays. They're a dynamic offense. I'm not disagreeing with that. But we need to see some serious adjustments next week. Serious adjustments.
No, definitely. Like you said, over 220 yards given up on rushing. That's not good at all. As a matter of fact, it was 234 total. Gotcha. And not only 117 for Austin Eckler, but then their backup running back, Joshua Kelly, ends up with 91 yards and a touchdown himself. It's like you're just giving it up in every single way. And mind you, For the most part, last year, say what you want again with our defense, but we kind of held up against the run, man. With the exception of giving up a couple big plays here and there, it makes it look worse. With the exception of that Justin Fields game where he was running wild, I mean, we pretty much held running backs at least. Like we stopped the run pretty well last year. So I was wondering, like, what the hell is going on? What the hell seems to be a problem? Are you concerned about this moving forward, or is it just one game? We'll get things right and or are you panicking yet?
No, I don't think there's a reason to panic because when the Chargers have a top 10, maybe top 5 offensive line. That
Right.
offensive line is really good, and they had Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips in hell for the majority of that
Hmm.
game. Um, that's the only reason why I'm not panicking. Great offensive lines are going to give running backs great games. So I didn't necessarily think I saw any weird coverages or some weird setups on defense. I just saw offensive linemen making great plays, but it's no excuse. We have to be better than it. We can't allow these huge play. Every play was like a 5 or 6 yard gain on the run. So it was pretty bad, but we need to make adjustments. I think they came in a little better in the third compared to the first, but hopefully it's just first game jitters. Clean it up this week, try something new, or it's just a dominant offensive line like the Chargers do have, which we need to give them props for. They have a really good offensive line. So that's why I'm not panicking yet. I don't think there's any point to be panicking because they fix those little things. They contain the run. This is going to be a tough team to stop.
Yeah, for sure. How about your thoughts? Your thoughts with this defense against the pass? Did you like what you saw? Xavier Howard got called for a couple penalties. I think they're highly questionable. But what do you think about Xavier Howard and our defense against the pass?
Thought Xavier Howard played pretty well. I think those calls were horse crap. One of
Yeah.
them was thrown out of the end zone, so I don't know how you call that. So I'm not gonna give Xavier Howard, too much hate. I think he did his job. Like I said, we limited the plays on the pass. Really wasn't a lot of big plays. Cater Kohu, man, he came up,
Mm,
got that sack on Justin Herbert. That was huge. That set up that 50-yard touchdown for Tyreek Hill. I'm pleased with the depth. I had the stat on my phone, but I guess it didn't say. But I saw Eli Apple. I think he was on for like 5 or 6 possessions and only allowed about, I think it was 25 to 30 yards. I got to pull that up sometime down during the show. But I was pleased. I was very pleased. But I think once this defense gets Ramsey back, I mean, that pass defense is going to be really nice. But right now, there's no excuse why our front defenders should be lacking, especially if Christian Wilkins wants to get paid. Better
hmm.
show up better than he did this week. So
No. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Only 3 sacks to count for as a unit, which to me the numbers got to be higher. But it was against a
and
great
two of them
offensive
came
line.
on the last drive of the game.
Exactly. It felt like we didn't get any until Kohu got one, and then the last two in the final drive. Obviously they got it when it mattered most, which you love to
Absolutely.
see. You love to see that our defense ended up being the ones to put the icing on the cake there. But let's talk a little bit about this game before we head into the next one. I know we got fantasy football to talk about as well. If you were going to give me one player of the game from the offensive side of the ball and one player of the game from the defensive side of the ball for this past game, not including Tua and not including Tyreek, because those are the obvious two guys. But besides them,
So you said besides Tua and Tyreek, right?
yeah,
Just making okay.
yeah.
Besides Tua and Tyreek, you know what? I'm gonna give it to it was a tie for me, but I think I want to give it to Barrios
Damn it, you
because
took my pick.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, Barrios had that crazy conversion. I think it's starting to turn to blue. I don't know if it was third or fourth down, but he had this crazy conversion that went out of bounds. Barrios just came in and made some plays, dude.
That was on third,
But
third
there
and
was just there
15.
was too many players to pick between. I think this was such just a total team effort. But that's my player of the game. But honorable mention to our offensive line who allowed 0 sacks on the day without Teron Armstead. That
Hmm.
was incredible. Austin Jackson had Joey Bosa in hell. Seeing it in person, he was putting Bosa on the floor,
I
which
love
I did
that.
not expect whatsoever. So those guys didn't get enough recognition this week because that's what we were worried about all week. And if they continue to play like that, Armstead, take your time, get healthy. We can hold it down. And that's what I want.
No, no doubt about it. And a lot of people are going to nitpick here at the offensive line. Oh, it wasn't that great. They gave up this, they gave up that. At the end of the day, no sacks is no sacks. And
No sacks.
everybody said Tua is screwed without Teron Armstead out there, and he freaking delivered without Teron Armstead. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
there's always going to be people around that's just going to nitpick. But I think overall, I think the offensive line did a solid job on Sunday. So interesting that you picked Barrios as your player there. That
Mhm.
was a 3rd and 15, which was very clutch on the left side, right on the sideline. And then after that, a couple plays after that, he made that scoop
Yep. Oh,
catch.
yep. The scoop play. There you
Yeah,
go. Yep.
two huge plays by Barrios. I thought he was big time. I thought Waddle was pretty clutch. Obviously, he only made, I think, 4 catches for 70 plus, if I'm not mistaken.
78
But
yards.
but I think the couple plays that he did make were big time. They were huge. They were in big moments. And I thought one of the biggest plays of the games was the one before the half. 2 plays before the half,
Yep.
Waddle got like a 25-yard gain going outside to go out of bounds that eventually led right after that to the pass interference called on Ezukama to lead us to get a field goal. And hey, without that field goal, you don't know if we win this game because we only
No.
win the game by 2 points. So I thought that was big time by Jalen
And
Waddle
that's
right
on Mike
there.
McDaniel, man. He could have easily just told him to kneel it and let's get to halftime, man.
Yeah.
That was a gutsy call by McDaniel, and I praise him for it. That was awesome to see. That got the crowd, that lit a fire under the crowd before halftime for sure.
No, that was awesome. That was awesome. So I'm picking Jalen Waddle. I was going to pick Barrios, but I'll go Waddle. Give me one for defense before we move on to New England here.
Man, it was tough for defense because I don't think anybody deserved this player of the game award for defense. But you know what? I'm gonna give it to Javon Holland. Led the team in tackles for the day. Javon Holland was out there all over the place. I got a great view of him. Being there myself, and he was just all over the place. Energy looked great. I'm gonna give it to Javon. He's my guy right there.
Okay, I love that. I think he played the best, honestly, out of everybody on the defense. He was flying around out there. He was everywhere, getting his nose into every single play, every single opportunity. For the defense, I'm gonna give it a Cater Kohu, man. I thought Cater Kohu played awesome. I mean, this is a guy who got targeted, I think, the most out of any DB in the NFL last year. An
Yep.
undrafted guy. He's undersized, but he plays with heart and hustle. And if there was any doubt in your mind that this guy was just going to have a good little rookie year. No, he already looks like he still has that fire. He's not satisfied. He's still hungry. That safety, not safety, near safety, but that sack by him was absolutely incredible. And I thought he held his own going against Mike Williams, going against Keenan Allen. They're rotating around. He got a little bit of both of them, but I think he held his own for the most part. And I just love to see that from a player like Kohu, who's undrafted, who I think is going to really, really continue to elevate his game under this scheme that Fangio is providing here.
Absolutely. And he has all the time in the world to do it with Ramsey being out. He has a great chance right here to show what he's all about. Kohu came up huge with that sack. And like I said, it set up the Dolphins for a great field position and turned into a 50-yard touchdown. So props to Kohu right there, man. Good pick.
All right. So we have ourselves the next week. So we have to flip the page, even though we want to celebrate this much longer after that
Yeah.
performance. Feels so damn good to get a win. But we're on to New England, man. New England, Sunday Night Football, prime time. And this is beautiful, by the way, because Tua is getting so much recognition
Yes,
that he
sir.
through ESPN, FS1. I mean, it's everywhere. And rightfully so after that performance. But now you have a chance to double that up even more. You have a primetime game. You're against Bill Belichick. You're against the New England Patriots. Tom Brady's going to be in attendance. Everyone's talking to you. You have all the games playing, and you're the sole game Sunday night after that performance. It would be a thing of beauty if Tua just does something special again. I mean, the whole media is going to go crazy if that happens, which would be amazing. But Sunday Night Football against the New England Patriots, man. Mac Jones had himself 300 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles. Is this concerning? How you feeling about this game?
Nah, I'm not impressed by that. Like I said, you throw the ball 54 times and you barely skim over 300 yards. That doesn't impress me. I don't care how tough the Eagles are. That doesn't impress me. That's just telling me, oh, I'm passing it on every chance I get. That doesn't. No, it's whatever. Like he looked abysmal in the first half. So we'll see. But this is going to rely. I think this is going to rely more on coaching than player personnel. I have confidence in our players able to execute, but our coaching staff has to game plan accordingly because we know Bill Belichick is going to run that ball. We know they got Zeke Stevenson. They're going to run that ball, so they better be ready. They better figure out what the hell is going on with that run defense because the Patriots are going to run the ball. But I think my keys to the game for this one, Nando,
Yeah.
it's going to be obviously containing the run. I think that's the number one thing. Also, pressuring Mac Jones. Get to the quarterback. Get to him early. We know Mac Jones folds. We know he cracks under pressure. Get to him early. Get him discouraged. Get to him. Make him a non-factor. And just stick to the rest of the game plan. But you pressure Mac Jones. You take away his confidence. He's not going to hurt you. Okay, and if he does, we got a new Mac Jones here, I guess. So, and then honestly, my third keys of the game is just establish the run more. The run game was working; it was working really good, and
Hmm.
they just stopped. Granted, the passing offense was working great, and they were making every play they wanted. But like if we just get a consistent run game to where we're getting whatever we want on both ends of the ball, we can throw whatever we want at teams. They're not going to know what to throw at us. Anytime a team is going to man coverage us, we have an opportunity to get a huge play. So, like, I'm just saying, man, establish that run game and keep it going. Hopefully, we see A Chain this week. We have more options. Maybe that's why they kind of abandoned the run game. They didn't want to give Mostert a very big workload with A Chain being out. But man, I would love to see them just hit the ground running and have both options available because we'll be hard to stop. But I love Miami in this one. If we want to be the team we want to be, we can't let this team hang around us. We got to put them away. So that's what I think.
I think our work's gonna be cut out for us, man. I think Bill Belichick always draws up a very, very good game plan. Although Tua is 4-0 against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, which is a very good stat. And obviously, Tua in those 4 games, didn't have eye-popping numbers, but 4-0 is 4-0 against the Bill Belichick coach team. I think you deserve credit for that. And it's in New England. It's a whole different environment than the last game Tua played against the New England Patriots. That was at home. We barely got by them 20-7, which was, I believe that was the home opener last year. Our work's going to be cut out for us. This is a team that I think Bill Belichick is going to. You talk about the run. I think that's exactly what Bill Belichick is going to want us to do. He's going to want us to run the ball. He's going to take away Tyreek Hill. He's going to take away whatever makes Tua comfortable. And he's got an improved defense over there in New England. Like those guys they look freaking good. I think our work's going to be cut out for us. My 3 keys to the game were very, very similar to yours, honestly. I think it's contain Ramondre Stevenson. This is a guy who the Dolphins have held under 42 yards throughout his career against the Dolphins. So that is a good sign, but he wasn't getting the bulk of the carries like he kind of is getting now. He's a lead
Definitely.
man now. It's a whole different story. I know they have Zeke over there, but Ramondre had, I think, like 6 catches for like 60 plus yards as well. So this is a running back that can also catch out of the backfield. We saw
Yes.
what Eckler did to us. So I think containing Ramondre Stevenson is probably number 1 key to victory for me. Second one, it's probably the whole running back room. After what I saw, I even saw a backup pick up numbers against the Miami Dolphins. So
Yep.
don't let them get into any type of groove. Zeke,
Absolutely.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
at all. And the third one was similar to what you said as well. I think those are the 3 keys of the game. It's obvious. You got to get pressure on Mac Jones. We saw 3 total sacks, 2 of them on the last drive. We got to get home. Bradley Chubb, I feel like he's just waiting to break out. Get one under your belt and then just hit the ground running from there. Put pressure on Mac Jones, and then I think turnovers are going to start piling up.
Yeah, I think this is an honorable key to the game. I didn't want to fit it in there because it's self-explanatory, but force some turnovers, get
Yeah.
get some turnovers, and don't leave points off the board. Miami had 2 drives where they could have stacked points. It
Hmm.
should have been much more point margin than it was last week. Don't leave points off the board, especially against Bill Belichick. I don't think it's going to be a walk through the park like everyone's saying, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a very close game. I think it will be maybe like by a touchdown or a touchdown, a field goal. I don't see any reason why Miami should lose to this team because like I said, dude, if we want to be the team we want to be, we have to beat this team. New England's got guys. I'm not saying they're a sweep over, but they're the worst team in the division. We have to take advantage. That's what
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
But I think it's interesting what you mentioned earlier, and I think you're onto something there when you say this game's about coaching. I think this totally screams coaching right here. Like this is, Belichick is coming off a loss. Belichick is on prime time. Belichick has lost to Tua 4 times already. You know, Belichick knows how to take the best players away. Mike McDaniel's still learning things, still not, you know, we still have a lot to nitpick about with Mike McDaniel. And it's hard to think that we're really going to double up on what we just saw, especially against a Bill Belichick team. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. So I
I mean,
think
if we
it's
if it happens, buckle
I'm,
up. But
if it
I
happens, that
mean,
would be incredible. But I think
yeah,
it's
but
going to
I
be
don't I
on
don't I
coaching.
don't think so either. I don't think so either. But I like what you said about that. It is about coaching. And I think it 100%. I don't necessarily think McDaniel was out coached extremely by Belichick in the first 2 games. I think McDaniel schemed it up pretty good in week 1 last year.
Yeah.
Things were still a little shaky. That was a whole new offense. Everyone was still learning it. You can kind of see that, they missed opportunities last week, but um, the last time we played the Patriots, we left, I think, 10 points off the board, a couple missed kicks by Sanders. They should have had that game even without Tua. So I mean, like I said, it's going to come down to how they scheme and game plan, but I'm excited for it. Prime time, baby. Like let's get it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be scared going into this game. I'm going to be just ready to go. But you know what? At least we're going to Foxborough early.
Yeah.
I'll say that for sure.
That is true. And I like what you also said. Don't leave points on the board when you're going up against a head coach like Bill Belichick. You don't want to leave points on the board. You have to tally up on those points when it comes to playing against good coaches and playoff games. You got to take those points. You can't freaking fumble at the 2 yard line, Connor Williams.
Absolutely.
Those
Yeah,
are
Connor Williams, man, don't get me started, dude.
nah. Let's leave him out of this, man.
Yeah.
Let's leave him out of this. Let's go with an X factor on offense and an X factor on defense before our score prediction. Then we get into some fantasy stuff. So X factor on offense from this game. If you have to give me one player first,
Do I have to do one player? Because
I don't want you to steal my. Let me. You go. One. You have two. You have two.
I want to say the O-line. I think
Okay.
it's going to
No,
be the O-line
that
tandem
works.
again. Yeah.
That works.
I think you saw it, man. That the O-line does their work, everything else is going to work out.
That's true.
Okay. New England has a decent pass rush, but the O-line needs to show up again. We might have Armstead back, but I think we'll find out tomorrow how that's looking. But O-line's going to dictate this game in the run and passing game. It is in their hands. If they come out ready to go, just like they did last week, then Miami's going to be in pretty good shape on the offensive line, on the offensive end.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I think when you point out the offensive line, I think that's fine to kind of nail them.
I just don't
As
think
a
you
whole.
understand. Like, I don't think we've seen a game like we did last week out of an offensive line in Miami, dude.
Yeah, giving up no sacks is crazy.
They had defenders that are known for their ability to get to the quarterback on their faces, dude. It was just something we're not used to seeing. If this O-line could keep that up, Isaiah Wynn came in almost right away, dude. And they were kind of switching him in and out with Liam Eichenberg. So I mean, we'll see the lineup they throw out this week, but I am very, very optimistic about the O-line right now, especially if we get Armstead back this week.
Belichick will find a way to make this game spicy, but Dolphins win it, in my opinion. Belichick always has something up his sleeve, man. But it's true though, honestly. Like I even thought we were toast. Like Khalil Mack and Bosa going against his offensive line with no Armstead. I was one of the ones that said we're screwed, but they deserve the credit, man. And I don't think that game Tua doesn't pick up those yards without the play of that offensive line, like you said. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't at all.
Absolutely not.
My X factor on offense, Tyreek Hill is obviously our best player. Bill Belichick is known for taking away our best player, anybody's best player. But I don't think you can even stop Cheetah. I think Cheetah's still going to get his, but that's not going to be my X factor. I feel like that's too obvious. I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert, man. I think Raheem Mostert is the X factor simply because I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities here. I really do. I think Belichick is going to force the Dolphins' hand to run the ball, because I don't think Mike McDaniel wants to run it that much. But I
Mhm.
think Belichick is going to force it on him, and he's going to have no choice. And I think Raheem Mostert, he showed flashes. He showed some good carries here and there against the Chargers. It's all about opportunity. And when he gets the opportunity, I think he always is usually successful. He's a fast running back. He's very dynamic. I love him, as well as a pass catcher. I think he's one of the fastest guys on the team. So that's my X factor, because I think the carries are going to be there. The opportunity is going to be there. Belichick is going to dare this team to run. And I think Mostert has to take that personal and deliver. So that's going
Yeah.
to be my X factor on offense.
No, that was going to be my player, to be honest, if you made me stick with one player. It's just I was really impressed with Mostert. I'm kind of sad they stopped going to him, but
Yeah.
he's if we get that run game going, I trust in him to be able to keep it efficient throughout the game. It's going to be a fun one for sure. It's going to be a real fun one, and like I said, I'm just happy it's early in the season, and you know what? Let's get. I think offense is going to have a great game. I really do.
I'm glad that we have two very tough road games to start the season,
Yes,
against the
definitely.
Chargers, and then a division opponent on the road. I think it's great. You see a comment here. Tua is the X factor. Of course he is. I just didn't
Of
want to
course,
go. I didn't want to go with the
too obvious.
yeah. I didn't want to go with the too obvious though. But X factor on defense, Jacoby.
I think this one's pretty obvious. It's got to be Christian Wilkins.
Okay.
He's the leader on that front, on that defensive front, and we got to get in there. We got to fill those gaps. We got to stop the run, and it's going to start with him. So I think even he said he wasn't too pleased with how they did it. So that defense has a chip on their shoulder going into this game already. So I expect a huge bounce back, and it starts with him. It starts with him, and I expect to see a handful of big plays from Christian Wilkins this week.
Yeah, that was 100% going to be my choice. I think him being out there in the middle, I think he has the opportunity to really impose his will and get that pressure on Mac Jones, lead him into some bad throws, hopefully an interception.
Absolutely,
I'm going to pick somebody else on the line. I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips, man.
my guy.
I thought Jalen Phillips played an awesome freaking game. I believe he had 11 tackles, had a tackle for a loss in there, a couple QB hits, and was part
Half
of
a
that.
sack.
But yeah, was part of that big sack where I think three guys got on Justin
Yeah,
Herbert at the end of the
yeah.
game there. I
Man,
mean,
I would have quit if that was me, dude. That looked
yeah,
painful.
had a little bit of everybody in there. I think it was Sealer, Wilkins, and Jalen Phillips. But
Yes.
I think it's all about that front, man. I think it's about that front containing the run and getting pressure on Mac Jones. So I like that you picked Wilkins. That would have been my first. But
Mhm.
my second would be Jalen Phillips, man. Prime time. Listen, the bright lights. Go out there and show the hell up and get yourself 2 sacks at least, Jalen Phillips.
Yes,
I'm picking him.
absolutely.
Score predictions now. All right, score
Yes, sir.
predictions. How are we feeling? What's your prediction? Do we win? Do we lose? And what is the score?
I'm gonna predict the Dolphins win. I'm gonna go for a 24-14 victory. I think a 10-point win is a pretty realistic thing there. Could be more, but I think they get rolling pretty early. I think they're gonna hit some bumps ending the half. But then I think they pick it up in the fourth. So I have them getting it a 10-point victory in Foxborough for sure.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. I have a 24-17 Miami Dolphins win. I wanted to make I think it's going to be a stressful game. I think it's going to be a one-score game.
Well,
This
you
one's
said that
this
last week, by the way. So
Yeah, I did. I did. And you know what? It resulted in a nice win. So I'm gonna keep it damn going. I'm gonna keep it going, man. I wanted to make the score even lower, but it's like after I saw what that offense did on Sunday, I can't. I give them at least 24 points. And what I saw from the defense, I gotta give up 17. So I think 24-17. And actually, Giannis has the same damn predictions as me. Let's go.
hey, my prediction wasn't far off this week. I predicted Dolphins win 36-30, and I got 36-30. Was it 34? No, 36-34. So I mean, I was right there.
Yeah.
So
You were on the money on that. You were super, super close.
yeah.
But I got 24-17, but we both picked the Dolphins to win, which is good. Last week, we were on different sides of things, but you were right. All right. And I'm very happy that I was wrong and the Dolphins won. But I think it's gonna be a battle. I think it's gonna be a very, very entertaining game. It's always great when you're playing on primetime television. You get to sit back, you get to enjoy football all damn day, stress free, and then
Yep.
we stress the hell out at night.
Yeah.
Which
No, I'm
is
ready for it, dude, because it starts at 5 o'clock for me. So
that's right.
I'm got my friends over. It's gonna be a fun night for sure.
All right, all right, all right. So now we're at the 40-minute mark. It is time for our fantasy segment. So last week, Jacoby shared his stardom situms, two from each major position in fantasy football. I thought that was a very fun segment, and we're gonna continue rolling with that. Week 2 now. First of all, how did it go for your fantasy squads before we get into it?
I went 1-on-1. I won the league I'm in with you. My other league, I lost by 2. It
Oh,
came down to I had a 20-point lead with Dalvin Cook and Garrett Wilson still to play on the other team. Unfortunately, Wilson had that touchdown, so kind of put me away in that one. But I have a few apologies to throw out there for you guys. I did not think Brees Hall was going to get the rock at all. So Brees Hall, props to him. He looks better than ever. He didn't have a huge game, but he had some great plays out there. So those of you that started him, good job disobeying my orders. But I told you guys to start Dalton Schultz. Never going back to that again. I thought that was going to be a great pick too. But yeah, overall, I had a solid week. I had Jacoby Myers on my bench who put up 30 points, so that was kind of tough. So I mean, and I played against Tua in my other league, so that was good. I'm a little more optimistic about this week, but I'm ready to give you guys my stardoms for this week. Starting with my quarterback stardoms, I'm going to have you guys now. I'm going to get some hate for this, but that secondary on the Chargers was terrible. And granted, I know they were playing against one of the most elite wide receivers in the league, but if you're stuck at quarterback and you don't have a reliable option, I think Ryan Tannehill will be a decent start for you
oh,
against the Chargers. I think he's going to get DeAndre Hopkins going in this game because, god damn, like the coverages on the LA was just all over the place. And they were just leaving receivers wide open left and right. And I think that'll be a decent start for you. Now, granted, if you have other options, I'd go for it. But if you're out of options or you like to string quarterbacks every week, I think Tannehill will be an okay start. So if you want to take that route, go for it. But my favorite start for quarterbacks this week is Jared Goff versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks just had their crippled secondary just led up through like over 300 yards to Matthew Stafford. I think Jared Goff is going to have a field day against the Seahawks. So go ahead and get Jared Goff in there if you don't have him already, or like I said, if you're streaking quarterbacks, get him in there. So those are my 2 stardoms for the week, and I can tell you're a little shocked there with the Tannehill pick.
I definitely was shocked with the Tannehill pick, but after what we saw what Tyreek Hill did to J.C. Jackson, I mean, I think DeAndre Hopkins got something in store for him. And also,
Absolutely.
you mentioned what you said about Brees. He had 10 carries, man, barely did play, so you were right about that. I mean, you were on the money.
But
I mean,
you're a man.
oh, well, hold on, it's think we're having a little bit of a connection issue. I'm unsure if you can hear me
Hear you.
clear.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. All right. There we go.
All right,
Now you're
we good?
back.
Okay.
Yep. Technical difficulties. It happens.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
happens when
always
we're doing live streams. If it's not me, it's you.
yeah.
But what did you say? Cut off. Brees Hall did have 10 carries. I
Yeah,
said.
and he had that huge play that went
Right.
opposite end of the field. I mean, I'm like, man, he's back. I love to see it. I was really happy for him, man. But I'm sorry to you guys that I told you to sit him. I mean, he could have been a reliable flex if you needed a few extra points. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
But
But those are
he.
my 2 stardoms. Those are my 2
Yeah.
stardoms, and I feel pretty good about them.
All right. How about your sit-em? Which 2 quarterbacks aren't you feeling this
Now,
week?
my situms, one of them is the same from last week, and I'm going to double down on this. Get Daniel Jones the fuck out of your fantasy lineup, dude. Like, that was completely painful to watch. And I told you, Nando, I do not trust in this guy at the quarterback. And, especially with what you saw against Dallas. Granted, Dallas has got an amazing defense, man, amazing defense. So, I'm going to just avoid Daniel Jones until I see some progress. He's got a tough schedule too coming up. He's got San Francisco after Arizona, and then he's got Miami, Buffalo, Washington. So yeah, keep him away. Um,
Bro, the way you said, get him the fuck off your team.
I'm serious, dude. I've seen this guy go so early, and I'm like, why? I don't understand.
Bro,
Now,
he had more completions to the other team than his own team for a long, long, long time of that
no,
game. It was crazy.
absolutely, it was horrible. And and for my other sit-em, it's gonna be the guy that he was playing against. I'm gonna stay away from Dak Prescott this week. I think he's gonna go up against a better defense this week than New York. He's going up against the other New York. And the Jets, who have a much better defense than the Giants, and against the Giants defense, Dak managed 4 points with 2 interceptions. So, and they still won 40-0, which is insane. Props to the Dallas defense, but I'm going to stay away from those two quarterbacks this week. I think they got horrible matchups, and I just don't like it. Dak is one of those guys you probably have to start every week, but if you're in one of those leagues that have multiple quarterbacks or you got a solid backup option, I would take that one for sure.
I am one of those ones with Dak as my starting quarterback, unfortunately, and I'm looking to stream a quarterback for this week. So I might have to go with Tannehill if he's out there, man. I might have to take you up on that.
Yeah, hey, yeah, like I said, it's a decent start. I like it. The Chargers secondary was just getting manhandled, and I think he can make it work against them for sure. But
Concerns about Joe Burrow?
concern, um, not really. Like I thought about it, but like if you have quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, you have to start him. You have to start him every week. Especially with Lamar Jackson, who gives you extra benefit on the running game. So, and especially if you're in a PPR league like me. So, I'm not too concerned about Joe Burrow. He was out for a long time in the training camp, didn't really have much of a training camp. So, he'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it. I will start worrying if this continues into week 3, though, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you got Joe Burrow and Lamar, start him.
Yeah, I feel like you have to. You have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
No matter
like
what.
like like Lamar and Joe Burrow weren't the only crazy shit that was happening in week 1. Like it was just all over the place. Like if you look at Pittsburgh and San Francisco,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just all over the place. So those guys earned a right to have a second start. So,
Yeah,
um,
for sure. So
but
running
my
backs.
my running backs, if you got Stevenson, I'm gonna put him in there. I don't have a reason to doubt that. So, if you have Ramondre Stevenson, get him in there. With what we saw against Miami with LA, Stevenson should have a pretty good game. Stevenson's a dog, though, man. He's gonna have his moments. He kind of reminds me of an Eckler in a way, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that's an easy start. Especially me being a Dolphins fan, I hate to say it, but I think it's an easy start if you have Stevenson. So I would go with that. My second stardom is Josh Jacobs. I was not impressed what I saw by Buffalo's defense yesterday against the run. They allowed those huge plays to Brees Hall, and Dalvin Cook got a few great plays out of it too. Josh Jacobs had a rough going last week, but I mean, I love these two matchups with Stevenson and Jacobs, so I'm gonna take Josh Jacobs in that
I,
one for sure.
I like that. I thought Josh Jacobs was gonna go off against Denver, which he usually does. So the
Yes.
fact that he didn't means that he's bound to have a big week too. I love
And,
the
and
Stevenson
it's
side.
ironic that it's these players who held out are having rough starts.
Yeah,
So,
there you
yeah,
go.
you see it.
Little bit of rust there. A little bit of rust.
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
I like those two picks, man. Who are you sitting? Who are those running backs that you're a little bit
For the
worried about?
second week in a row, I'm sitting Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams did have a significant role against Vegas, but especially on my team, unfortunately, didn't have a really good going. P Ryan had more points than him in PPR leagues, so I'm gonna stay away from Javonte Williams. Maybe one more week. He's gonna play. He's gonna play Miami after this week, so maybe that will be his breakout game. Who knows? But he only had 9 points against Vegas, but he looked good out there. He looked good out there. He was averaging 4 yards a carry, had a few receptions, but I mean, with P Ryan taking most of his volume, I'm gonna stay away from him for one more week. My other one was James Cook. Was not impressed at all.
Mhm.
Buffalo's got some trouble, man. They're in some trouble, and I've been trying to tell everybody all off season. O line's not impressive. The play calling is abysmal. What they're calling for James Cook, so I'm going to stay away from him this week. Maybe flex him if you don't have any other choice, because like I said, like Buffalo, can't count him out just yet. They could have a big game next week. So, but if you have better options, keep Cook out of your lineup.
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw from James Cook. I mean, granted, you're playing against the New York Jets, but still, it's just like the play calling was just weird. I mean, I don't know, man. Listen, this Buffalo thing, I don't know. I'm seeing something that it's just, our preseason predictions are seem to look very, very, very like we very good chance of happening. But let's see how that goes. Wide receivers, though, who are those that you like this week?
I like these two. DeAndre Hopkins, give me him against LA. Think he's gonna have a great. I think he's gonna have a great game this week. I think with against that Chargers secondary, if they continue their poor play from last week, and he had 13 points on 13 targets and 7 receptions last week against New Orleans. Man, he didn't have a bad game. So you get him a couple more of those receptions, he gives you a solid 16, 17 points. So I think he's going to have a better game against LA. So give me DeAndre Hopkins there. And number two, this is my guy. I hate that I even doubted him and I didn't even take him because I didn't know how it was going to go on. Give me Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman, my guy, had a bounce back. Week 1, 23 points against the Jaguars, 11 targets, 8 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown. Give me Michael Pittman against Houston. Think they're going to have fun with that against that secondary. So I love those two stardoms. Hopefully I can get Pittman in one of my leagues. He was my guy last year. Had a horrible quarterback situation. Didn't know how it was going to pan out this year. So, yeah, if you got Pittman, get him in there.
I feel like Michael Pittman is so solid and so underrated, and I'm one of those people that view him as underrated because I'm one of those who passed on him a couple of times.
Yep.
I saw him sliding in a lot of drafts. He was right there, a top 20 wide receiver, you can argue, and I passed on him, and I regret it. I was unsure what I was going to see with him with Anthony Richardson, but hey, the volume was there, and he's consistent, bro. He is very, very
Absolutely.
reliable. Shout out to my guy Calvin Ridley, by the way, my ride or die. He showed the hell out in that game. So
Yep.
Calvin
He's
really deserves
back,
a little
man. He's
shout out.
back.
So who are the two you are avoiding though?
The two I'm going to avoid this week. I'm going to avoid Michael Thomas from the Saints. Michael Thomas didn't have a terrible game back against the Titans. He had 5 receptions on 8 targets. It's good to see him back out there. Hopefully he stays healthy all year. But Carolina had the best defense against wide receivers this week somehow. But New Orleans didn't look too pretty. So I'm going to probably skip on him, especially with Chris Olave out there. So I'm going to skip on Thomas this week. And my second one, I'm going to keep Debo Samuel out of my line. With Debo Samuel, man, it's tough. Like he's a tremendous
Hmm.
talent, but fantasy wise, he just doesn't have it for an instant starter. And it looks like Purdy loves Ayuk. Ayuk's his guy. So I mean, if you have Ayuk, if you got Ayuk or late, good on you. I think Ayuk's going to have a breakout year. The Rams, for some reason, looked pretty great on the defensive end without Jalen Ramsey now. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to be as good against the Niners. The Niners are a different breed right now, but but especially if the Niners do what they're supposed to do to the Rams, then it should be a pretty early ending for that game. And I expect Ayuk to get most of the volume.
Yeah, and the Rams did win. The Rams look good, but when it comes to the Niners and the Rams, we know what Shanahan is able to do to
Yeah,
McVay. So
absolutely.
we've seen this before. Before we move on to tight ends, we got a question from
Yeah.
Nando here, off RB topic, but is Zay Flowers starter worthy? He had a nice little outing in the first game.
No, yeah. I like Zay Flowers a lot. It's just for me, I don't know how he's going to look with Andrews back out there because it's going to take some of his targets away. Because Andrews is going to be Lamar's favorite target, in my opinion. So, but hey, props to Zay. Had a great game. 9 receptions on 10 targets. That was awesome to see. But you know what? If Andrews plays, but he's still not 100%, or if he doesn't play, yeah, still keep him in there. But if you have better options, go for it. But it could be a nice little flex for sure.
Yeah, I thought he showed some nice flashes, bro.
No,
Very
yeah, because they're also playing Cincinnati, so that might be a little bit of a back and forth.
yeah.
But if Cincinnati jumps out to a big lead, especially with no J.K. Dobbins now, that was my player too. Lost him. They might rely more on the passing. So yeah, I'd start him for sure.
All right, so let's go into the final topic here. Tight ends. Start them, sit them for tight ends.
For tight ends, my one start him. I'm gonna go T.J. Hawkinson.
Very
They're
nice.
playing the Eagles this week on Thursday Night Football. Tremendous defense from Philadelphia. I don't think this game is going to be too close. I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from Minnesota. I see Minnesota having to pass a lot this game. And I think mainly the focus will be on Jetta. It's going to leave opportunities open for TJ. So if you got TJ, get him in there. Another stardom. I love Evan Ingram this week against Kansas City. Kansas City had trouble containing passes to tight ends against Detroit. Get Ingram in there if you have him. But like I said, every week tight ends are a little difficult. There's like 2, maybe 3 tight ends that are instant starts, and the rest are always just wild cards. So out of those wild cards, I think those 2 are pretty great starts.
It's
Going to my
very thin.
yeah. What were you saying?
No, it's very thin. That's the tight end room.
Yeah, it is really
Yeah.
thin. And to my sit-ems, Dalton Schultz, you're out. I'm not giving you that praise again. Get him out of there if you have him. He's playing against Indianapolis. We'll see how that game goes, but I'm not relying on Schultz until I see something. I used to be a big Schultz guy, and so that's why I gave him benefit of the doubt last week. And get Darren Waller out too.
Oh man.
No, not trusting that Giants offense right now in the slightest. So those are my stardom situms. Hopefully they have better results this week. I think I feel a lot more better about these ones for sure. I think my biggest curveball is Tannehill, but you know what? I think Tennessee can do some damage against that Chargers defense.
No, I think I'm definitely gonna take your advice and catch you on that, since I have Prescott against the Jets.
Well, don't go after me if it backfires.
No, I won't. But I got a question.
Yeah,
Dallas Goedert is my tight end in 2 leagues. He had 0 points on 1 target. Should I be concerned, or you expect a bigger volume on Thursday?
I think Belichick did a really good job against Philadelphia. I think Dallas Goedert is a top maybe 6 or 7 tight end. I'd get him in there for sure. I'd say by week 3 or 4, if he's still giving you subpar performances around 5 or 6 points, then start maybe trying to look for a different option. But out of tight ends, if you get like 8 or 9 points, you could be happy with that. Like I said, there's only 2 or 3 that are going to give you maybe over 12 or 13. So, but I wouldn't panic yet.
Okay. All right. So that, thanks for that. Obviously, if you guys have any other fantasy questions throughout the week, follow Jacoby. His at name right there on Twitter is under his camera here. So give him a follow if you haven't. DM him, at him on Twitter. Ask the questions throughout the week. So thank you for that, Jacoby. And that leads us to our final segment here, which is Thursday Night Football. We got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, this will be their home opener. They struggled a bit against the Patriots. They still picked up the win. They're 1-0. The Vikings picked up a loss to the Tampa Bay freaking Bucks.
Yeah,
so they're 0-1. Justin Jefferson had a nice freaking game, but unfortunately it was a loss. So the Vikings are not the favorite. The Eagles are the favorite by a whopping 7 freaking points, which is a pretty high number on a Thursday night. How are you feeling about this game? Who do you think wins this game, and why?
I think this will be a pretty lopsided victory by the Eagles. Vikings looked like a total mess, and that's why Jetta is going to be more valuable in your leagues, because I don't really have the Vikings being a big threat this year. And if they're down in a lot of games, it's just going to create more opportunities for Jetta. But give me the Eagles 27-14. I think it's going to be a very lopsided victory for Philadelphia. I think their defense is just going to make life hell for the Vikings. And I think Jalen Hurts has a better game and better weather. I'm not too sure on the top of my head. Where's this game being played?
It's in Philly.
Philly, yeah. Okay, so they're going to be at home. They got their rowdy crowd over there. I think Hurts has a great game, gets a rushing touchdown for sure. So I think it's just completely in the favor of the Eagles. So
okay, our last Thursday night prediction, you predicted the Chiefs and they lost, and I predicted the Lions and they won. And I am actually picking the Minnesota Vikings on this one, bro.
Yeah, let's see.
So I'm going with another upset on this one. This one, I'm actually not even saying it to be funny. I really think that the Vikings are a better team that they showed on Sunday. A lot of people call them fraudulent. I know that. But I think that Kirk Cousins is going to have a lot of passing yards this game. I didn't like what I saw from Hurts, and he looked like he struggled when he was throwing the ball a lot. So what type of defensive coordinator likes to blitz and make a guy throw? that is Brian Flores. And Brian Flores is the DC for the Minnesota Vikings. I think a lot of blitzes are going to be seen on Thursday night, and I think this is going to be an upset, and I think the Vikings win it in Philly.
All right.
Nando says that he's playing you week 9. He's looking ahead already.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
But
I'm down. Yep.
So I got the Vikings. Vikings winning the game. I got the Vikings +7 on the spread. Jacoby has the Eagles winning that game. We both have the Miami Dolphins beating the New England Patriots. Jacoby, thanks again for pulling up as always.
Absolutely.
Any last words to anybody?
Nah, man. I'm ready for this week. Like I said, the excitement is kind of worn off from Sunday. I'm ready for this upcoming Sunday. Already got one more day after this till Thursday Night Football. So week 2's already here. Let's get it.
Let's go. Appreciate everybody chiming in on the chat board as always, pulling up to the stream. This show it goes with you guys, so I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day and giving us the feedback, man. Just chiming in. Show it's better with you guys chiming in on the chat, so I appreciate you guys. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Enjoy week 2 of the NFL season. Go Dolphins. Hopefully Dolphins pick up a win, and good luck to all your teams. And Nando, sorry about Aaron Rodgers, my brother. Stay up, man.
Yeah, we're sorry, man. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. Injuries suck. Although I hate your Jets, injuries suck. But
thanks for beating the Bills.
Yes, thank you for beating the Bills. So, like I said, enjoy week 2 of the NFL season, everybody. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday. Me and Jacoby got the Dolphins winning. Go Dolphins.